Welcome back. Welcome back. Once again, this is Rod Powell, and you are listening to or watching the You Should Get a License podcast edition, your number one source for information, education, and inspiration on the most underrated career opportunity in business today. That is a career in the insurance and or financial services industry. Today, we have a great friend of mine, one of my brothers in this business, a true professional, one of the smartest people that I know in this industry. He's a 15-year veteran, specialist in benefits and employee strategic planning, whether it be self-funding, nonprofit sectors, government sectors. He's also a great family man, very involved in the community, sits on boards for Big Brother, Big Sister, the Boys and Girls Club, NIA, DC as well, and just a phenomenal professional and person, Mr. Adam Woodford. Adam, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you so much for that intro. As a person who is a fan of yours, and as a person, and as a friend, and as a business person and entrepreneur, I gotta say that was one heck of an intro, and I appreciate that. Magnified and reciprocated. You are an incredible motivation. I really love your show. I couldn't wait to be on it, and I applaud somehow my unborn baby for holding off this weekend from coming into the world so we could be on this episode together. But thank you. I appreciate the welcome. Excited to be here. Excited to talk with you.
Hey, thank you, man. And as you mentioned, thanks for carving out a little bit of time to talk and share your story, because I think it's an important one that people need to hear. I went right off just introducing the benefit space. Very rarely, once again, even meeting you for the first time, we met through Ngozi Anaji, who is like the ultimate plug for everyone to get to know each other. Sure. Seeing that you were in employee benefits and coming from that background myself, I'm just like, wow, anytime, right. See somebody kind of in that lane in the industry. But, for this platform, we're speaking to people about the different market segmentations, the different specializations that, individuals can have. I wanted to just kind of start off and maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your area of focus, what you do actually as a benefits broker and producer, and kind of where your focus is on your professional day-to-day.
Absolutely. Thank you. I started 15 years ago, to your point, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as a career, what I thought was going to be a lifelong career in an insurance carrier sales rep position. And I did my initial training there. I got introduced to one of the sales reps out in the field in Philadelphia when I was taking two of my mentees to a job fair. They were younger. They didn't really understand how to work a room in terms of getting acclimated to what opportunities were there and what to say and what to bring, et cetera. So, I went there with the intent to kind of show my mentees how to get, a job offer or get familiar with certain industries, and ended up meeting a gentleman who later I went to his office, gave my resume, and months later I was, in Minneapolis training and specializing in employee benefits, an industry I'd never heard of, really. I know that my parents are familiar with the industry. I know my father had been an insurance representative for some time, and recently actually had his own practice and sold it in PA, but I never knew a group insurance rep was a job that I could get into, or how broad the insurance ecosystem, as I like to say, or insurance industry, financial services industry was, and how many opportunities were available. So I started off focusing my efforts on the employee benefits side with a focus on the self-funded, alternative funded markets. We of course all end up specializing or being, subject matter experts in certain things. And I did all of the above, accident and individual to group and, disability insurance. Life insurance, of course, is always top of mind, but the medical side, the healthcare side is where I've really focused my efforts in development from a career standpoint. So that was my start, and I'm focused now on the sectors that you mentioned: government contractors, nonprofits, businesses that are, just starting and don't know where to go to get a benefit plan for their employees as a recruitment and retention strategy. So, as you know, as a boutique insurance agency owner, there is so much to the roles that we have in this industry. And it seems like there is a limitless amount of information to obtain, which again is one of the more interesting parts of this industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do I get more time? If you're a business owner, that's the question that you're asking yourself. How can you manage the business, generate the revenue, do your administrative tasks, run your social media, run your website, manage your calendar, book your appointments, generate your leads, and continue to be the face of your brand? You need to hire a virtual assistant. In fact, you need Better Business virtual assistants, because you need someone who can help you with the social media, the website, the administrative tasks, managing the calendar, making those calls, setting those appointments, making sure that your business is running smoothly so that you can do best, and that's be the face of your brand and focus on those revenue generating opportunities and activities. How do I know? Because this video that you're watching right now was actually made by a virtual assistant. So if you want to take your business to a 10x growth of productivity so that you can enhance your efficiency, schedule a time by clicking the link below, and you can talk to a high quality, high efficiency virtual assistant that can help you get to where you want to go. Peace.
And I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that, getting into this space from the benefit side, you had never even heard of that, didn't even think that was actually a thing. And I was really excited for this conversation, because when people think of, like, a producer is a sales role, and it's a consultative, sales position, but it's an executive level, sales position as well. And when people think of sales roles in insurance or financial services, they think almost exclusively about home and auto sales or life insurance sales, not necessarily group benefits and, really constructing these plans and working, hand in hand, with decision makers and businesses to protect their employees as well as their bottom line. I want to talk about how you kind of found your way, not just to that space, but just understanding that, hey, look, this is where I want to be. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to ask you, before we even go down that road, what is it? You're kind of like, you're very rare, in your field. What is it like, to be a benefits producer in your market segment versus just the regular sales? And I'll even kind of broaden the question to say, what would you say are the main differences in that experience, in those experiences?
That's a really good question, and it is layered, so there's a lot to unpack. But I think I'll start by saying the fact that there is a never-ending learning curve, regardless of how many years you spent in this insurance industry, what role. That is a blanket truth that I think applies to everyone within this industry and ecosystem, and that can be, from underwriters or account executives and managers to actuarial folks in my position, your position as owners, or as a group rep. As they say, we are rare. We do have to specialize in certain things to gain that depth of knowledge that you need to bring to employer groups to protect their assets. And the reason that I think I am excited about the opportunity is because insurance touches everything, right? It is everywhere. Every business, every person requires some level of insurance, right? Unless you're in a state that doesn't require you to get car insurance, you're going to have to acquire that in order to operate that motor vehicle. And I think that when I started, when I got exposed to how broad this industry is and where I could go, I was overwhelmed. And I kind of just fell into it like most people discovered this industry in itself, I kind of fell into where I was really good off the bat, which was, the medical insurance side. And I discovered, hey, not only am I good at this, there's a position in corporate America that I'm trying to. While I was in grad school, I was actually kind of weighing my options as to whether to continue grad school as a grad assistant or to pursue this unknown opportunity I had no idea about. And of course, we all know the statistic around assets in this country, right? World assets, 75% plus of all of the world's assets are in United States insurance companies. And I found that out very early. I didn't realize how substantial
that was. Say that again. Hold on. Say that again, Anna. You said 75%. That's statistic right there. We're going to have to highlight that. Say that again.
And fact check me on this, because I want people to look this up. 75% or around that number represents the amount of global assets that are in the United States insurance companies. United States insurance companies have more assets than all of the global banks combined.
Yes, it would make sense. It just makes sense. Yeah. I mean, insurance companies are financial institutions, and banks go to the insurance companies.
Exactly. Banks have insurance advisory arms. They purchase. They have premium finance companies that they purchase, or they finance themselves. So learning that, getting exposed to that, and at the same time, in early 2008, I knew nothing of the pending recession that was going to surface at the end of that year. And one of the unique experiences that I look at now and I can laugh, but in Minneapolis, I'm in my apartment with my other cohorts. We all got the same letter that we might be on that list of 15,000 employees that might be let go that month. And this is week 2 in the training program. So I also learned that not only is this industry potentially very lucrative for me, as I'm getting exposed to all these new things, all these new opportunities, all these new areas that I could become a subject matter expert in and find myself in terms of my professional career development. But I also learned that because the industry is so tightly involved and tightly bound to the financial services industry and to our economy, it's also very volatile. And you have to, I don't want to say you have to, you can be a general agent, and you can be a mile wide and an inch deep on everything and collaborate with folks so that you have access to those subject matter expertise. And we'll probably get into mentorship in a minute, but I think that my mentor told me while I was kind of looking at this letter and considering my future, and now feeling very, very unsure about this career path that I just chose, calm down, take a deep breath, because that producer license, that is the key to a limitless future of opportunities within this sector, regardless of what the economy does. And that individual producer license, once you get it, I oftentimes just look at it because it's something that I worked very hard for. I passed those exams. I have that, and no matter what, that is a revenue generating document that has my name on it, no matter what part of the country or even world that I go into or move to or visit. I have an opportunity to produce revenue in that territory, in that area. So it to me, in that moment, I realized that I knew that regardless if this was going to be my main career path or if it was going to be something that I did as a side hustle for supplemental income, at that moment during the Great Recession, if you will, I realized that I made the proper choice in pursuing this career path, because there's going to be some lane that you can get in and stay in for decades and be very successful. And in addition, the lifestyle of autonomy and networking, I think just having the people like yourself around me, meeting new people in the industry and learning new things about areas you're not an expert in really opens the door to, again, more revenue producing opportunities. And so I have a friend that says we're all in sales, really. So it makes sense because when you negotiate, you're selling either yourself or something. And so that really just monetizes something that's a necessary factor in your life, be it insurance or a financial services product. So it's a very tumultuous time now because we're seeing a lot of political unrest, just socially. However, what is a consistent factor is that there are still revenue generating opportunities within the insurance industry, the financial services industry.
Look, I think, now is actually one of the best times for individuals to look at joining this industry. This industry at the time that we're recording this interview, I just saw an article, about some layoffs that Amazon was having, 10,000 employees, coming down the pike. Yeah. And I'm just thinking to myself, for all of these individuals, there is an opportunity in the highest paid industry in this country that is underpopulated with not just, diversity, but just people in general, talent in general, that is an open that's open. That's an open door that has a very low barrier to entry. One of the things that you mentioned there that I want to pull out, you said having that producer license was the key to going anywhere you wanted and knowing that you could generate revenue. But you are a highly educated gentleman as well. You have your degree, you got your master's degree, but you didn't say having the master's allows me to go anywhere to generate revenue. And you said having the producer license allows you to go anywhere. Now, I think that that's something that, folks should pay attention to. This is saying that, look, you do need to enhance your education as much as possible. But at the same time, that producer license, did you have to get the master's before you could become a producer?
No, not at all. They didn't care that I was in graduate school at the time, the company did support my pursuit to complete my master's degree, which I'm grateful for because that was always a goal, was to pursue as much education as possible. And I really feel good about the experiences. I feel great about the experiences I had in undergraduate and in grad school. And if I would have done it all again, I don't regret anything, but if I would have had the information I have today about the significance of that license and the fact that I could have started that journey at age 18 and started building wealth then while going through college and possibly even paying my way through the classes that weren't covered by my scholarship. You know what I mean? Like that college was, I think when I went to college, when we went to undergrad and grad school, that's when you saw a significant increase in tuition. I mean, my school increased by 120% by the time I graduated. My graduate school, I ended up having to pay in cash per class because I basically suspended my degree track in order to focus on my career in the insurance industry, because it just made more sense to focus on the things that are producing revenue. And at the end of the day, it's not all about that. To your point, I do value my education. I pride myself in having the skills and the knowledge and the privileges that my degrees afford me. But I didn't need them to get to where I'm at today. Do they give me some additional business acumen, skills, some tools? Of course they do, sure. However, to your point, completely unrequired to get an insurance license and do exactly what we are doing today. So, and it really is so you own your degree. Your degree doesn't guarantee that you're going to produce a living, right? There are certain aspects of my degree that are a moot point now because of technology and modern communication modalities and modern marketing presence. Social media, when I graduated, was in its infancy. And now if you don't do marketing online, which is not something that we focused on when I was in college in the early 2000s, I mean, it's not insignificant, it's not irrelevant completely, but that insurance license is going to be relevant 100% of the time. So you made a great point. I think that if more folks who are looking at the price of college or any other postgraduate education to enhance their revenue potential should seriously consider pursuing getting a license, because you are almost guaranteed that even if you think you're not good at sales, because you will become great at sales once you get that license, you just have to. If you pursue a license, you're not 100% guaranteed, but you are way better off in terms of getting an understanding of how to monetize that piece of paper that costs you a few $100s in terms of the pre-licensing materials and taking the exam versus tens of thousands of dollars in a college degree. So I think that is not as widely known, especially in communities where wealth has been either suppressed in the African-American community, which is why I pride myself of being a part of NAIA, because that is the impetus of the organization, is to attract the Black community to this career opportunity. And I think that we don't promote it as much as we should. I know I don't, because this is something that I'm selling to everybody, right? I'm selling to all of the employer groups that I have as clients, all the individuals that ask me, but I never really spend time saying, hey, listen, here's a link, go check this out. This is what the pre-licensing process is like. This is how much I can tell you I produced with this license. I can't tie a direct number of revenue to any of my degrees. So you make a great point, and I feel that the longer we stay in this career, you and I and folks like us, the more folks like us will be able to see that this opportunity is very legitimate. It's very lucrative, but it also gives you the autonomy to live freely and still make more than a better income, more than a better living. I
would say more than many people with.
Yeah.
I
don't know the numbers behind it. Now I'm going to look it up. So
right. So, but because don't for those who are listening, don't get it twisted. I mean, someone in Adam's position is, hanging with the doctor or a lawyer quite comfortably, so not a family practitioner. I'm talking about a surgeon, So,
I work very hard, just like Rod, for all
right.
You can see all the cool stuff you have that you bought with your insurance money in the background, but
everything I own, I attribute to this industry.